Hello and welcome, guys. Welcome to this week's episode of The Contented Narrative. We are looking at Thornhedge by T.Kingfisher. Now, I have reviewed a Kingfisher book previously on my channel called Nettle and Bone, which was thoroughly enjoyable, was not what I was expecting, and I was once again pleasantly surprised. So as you can see, it's a tiny little book. I mean, I got it done in a matter of, like, in a day, essentially. If I'd have just sat down and done nothing but read, I probably could have got it done in a couple of hours. But you come across Toadling, who is protecting this keep surrounded by thorns and everything, and obviously you're like, oh, Sleeping Beauty, but it isn't. So obviously it's kind of what you would expect from Sleeping Beauty. You've got the maiden in the tower and everything like that. But then you've got this passage of time happens, because obviously in Sleeping Beauty it tends to, depending on which version you read, but the Disney-fied version is like, it happens quite simultaneously. She goes to sleep, she wakes up, it's barely a nap. I'd get annoyed if I woke up from a nap. So you've got Toadling that's looking after this keep, and she sees the passage of time, and you know, from when she first started the curse to, you know, when this knight eventually comes along to talk to her, she observes all of this, and she observes a plague as well at one point, and she's kind of a keeper of it. And then you kind of you start learning. I mean, you learn quite early on. I say early on, it's only like a couple hundred pages. You learn early on that she's a changeling, so she is a human that ended up in the fairy world, and then she's quite basic with her magic, so everything she's got is going into keeping this person asleep. And when you find out who this person is, why they're asleep, you know, and what Toadling has, you know, is doing, and what their curse is, essentially, you kind of understand it. And I really like the way that Kingfisher writes it, because you have an inkling that it's not exactly as it's supposed to be. You have an inkling that you sat there going, huh, okay, but what if it's this, this, and this? And the way that they write it, and the way that you kind of get to the conclusion, you feel really, really satisfied with the story. I mean, honestly, I loved the way that the Toadling, you know, communicates with the knight. I love the fact that, you know, we see what happened and how it happened, and then why Toadling is the way that she is. I love the fact as well that she can just turn into a toad. So imagine that you're in an awkward situation, you've had enough, you're done, you want to just end the night, you just turn into a toad and you vanish, you disappear, you turn into a toad and off you hop. Like, imagine having that power to just be like, not going to deal with humans anymore, I'm just going to turn into a toad and just enjoy my little leafy life. And honestly, it reminds me of that meme with like the witch cursing you as a frog and then realizing that you actually live in your best life as a frog. But honestly, I think it's one that you guys can easily give a go. Like, honestly, considering some of the ones that I've recommended in the past have been like 1,000 pages, 500 pages, 600 pages, whatever, I would definitely say give it a go. It was a very enjoyable book. I love Kingfisher's works. I mean, you know, I'm going to get more in the future, because the stories that I'm reading, as I'm reading them, I'm like, oh, this is so good. This isn't kind of how I would expect it to be. And do you know what I mean? It's one of those that keeps me on my toes. Obviously leave it below in the comments what you think, but this was got for me by Lauren from work, and she absolutely didn't miss a trick with this one. So thank you so much, Lauren. I hope you read this as well, but thank you so much for your continued support. Remember to subscribe so you're alerted when a new video comes out. I love how I say you're alerted when a new video comes out, as if I don't put them out at 5 p.m. on a Friday every single week anyway. But thank you so much, honestly, for your continued support, for your continued likes, for your continued views, and your shares and everything like that. And if there is anything else that you want me to do, please leave it below in the comments. Let me know. But thank you so much, and remember to always keep it contento.